ISIS terrorists ambushed their school in a suicide bombing, but tonight the victims of the attack, a group of 20 teenage Afghan girls, rest safely in Spain. The Spanish government, working with Catholic aid group Vulnerable People Project and the Jewish Humanitarian, responded, granted visas to 20 of the 180 girls affected. The remainder will go to Canada. Joining us now is Jason Jones, founder and president of the Vulnerable People Project. Jason, always good to talk with you. And let's start off with these poor girls. And they were just preparing for their entrance exams last fall at their school, and when it was attacked, killing dozens of their colleagues. What more can you tell us about this event?
Yeah, it was the tragedy of the attack was it was at the Hazara Educational Center. So Afghan students, most of them young women from across Afghanistan, were there to take exams, entrance exams. And so when the ISIS attack happened, Hazara children from all over Afghanistan were wounded. And the Hazara are a minority in Afghanistan that are facing genocide at the hands of ISIS. And with our work at the Vulnerable People Project, we've worked with vulnerable communities around the world. And I've never met a community that is more passionately committed to education, that is more passionately committed to the education of young girls and women than the Hazara community. So it's quite devastating.
And your group has just done some amazing work. I mean, these girls were in need of medical care that could not be provided in Afghanistan. What was their state, both physically and mentally, and after this attack?
Well, as you can imagine, it's catastrophic. There were about 50, I think there were 56 young students that died, 46 of them young girls, 110 were injured. The 20 that received visas and free hospital care thanks to a Catholic hospital, they need major surgeries. So the 20 most seriously wounded will be coming to Spain. When it really hit me is we took them to a shopping mall. We were there to greet them and to help and make sure that their process and their transition went smoothly. We took them to a shopping mall. I wanted to get them a tea kettle, something that's part of their culture, teacups and tea. We asked them what they wanted to eat. These are teenage girls. They'd never been in a shopping mall before, like a Western shopping mall, and they said pizza with a big smile. And the young girl sitting next to me was very shy and embarrassed, and she couldn't lift her arm because the whole left side of her arm was so badly damaged, and she was sort of ashamed and embarrassed to ask me to cut her pizza for her. Another young girl, you can see in one of the photos, it's quite bulky. Well, she has a very large brace on because her back was so severely injured. But yet they were all very eager to talk about what their hopes were for the future. And thanks to some of our partners in Spain, all 20 of these girls will be receiving 5 years of education, including 1 year of intensive Spanish education, and then the degree program of their choice.
Absolutely incredible there. I mean, their rescue and resettlement is an extraordinary blessing, but I'm sure it's a challenge as well for these girls. I mean, not only do they have to deal with tremendous trauma, but they left their families, their homeland behind. What are their new lives like? What can you report on that?
Well, it's a bit bewildering. I'm in Manchester, England, as I'm coming to you today. And as I took the train from London, I'm a 51-year-old man with my luggage. I speak English. I'm an American, and I'm kind of wandering around lost and confused in this train station in Manchester, England. So you have to imagine young girls from rural Afghanistan, Shia, Hazara minorities, and it's quite jarring. And so it's sorrowful. We're really grateful that they have the opportunity to receive this medical care. And we're really grateful that they have this wonderful opportunity to continue their education. But we have to remember these are young girls. These are teenage girls. They're in a new country. They've been separated from their parents, from their families. They have the jarring memory of having their flesh ripped apart by a bomb placed by ISIS-K, and knowing that so many of their friends died. And so this is the sorrowful world we live in. But Vulnerable People Project is very openly a Catholic apostolate. And we believe that the work of the Catholic in the world is to stand with the most vulnerable members of our human family, whether it's the child in the womb and young women in our communities, or young people facing the fentanyl crisis in our own communities.
Right.
But then as Catholics in a republic like ours that has influence around the world, we have a real opportunity to work towards, we want to exemplify that the global community should serve the most vulnerable people in the world, not exploit them, not use them, not shunt them aside, and not ignore them. And so the work at the Vulnerable People Project is that we really seek to serve the most vulnerable people in the world. We say that in human rights work, there's always Palm Sunday, where there's an enthusiasm and an excitement about a social cause, but we want to be there on Good Friday. We want to be there at the cross, and it's a sorrowful work most of the time, but being able to get these young women the medical care they need, being able to see that they can further their education. For us, this is sort of like a resurrection moment. It's an exciting moment.
Sure.
It gives us hope. There are 180,000 former Afghan allies, SIVs, that have been abandoned to Afghanistan, that are hiding and fearing for their life. There are 20 million Afghans facing acute hunger. Christians and other minorities, especially the Hazara, are facing the brunt of this. And so what we do at VPP, we've delivered over 1.5 million meals since December 24th, when we kicked off our Coal for Christmas campaign, where we give coal for heat, because even a bigger threat to life in Afghanistan right now than even ISIS is the weather and starvation.
Well, Jason Jones, I tell you what, your organization is an incredible organization that is touching the hearts of many through Jesus. And thank you so much for being with us. God bless you.
Well, EWTN's been with us every step of the way. And if people go to thegreatcampaign.org, they can stand with us as we try to serve the most vulnerable people in the world.
Amen to that. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.